On live national television, with the whole country watching, Donald Trump stepped forward with a savage grin, ready to rip Barack Obama apart and bury him under a storm of personal attacks, only for Obama to calmly look him in the eyes and destroy him with a single sentence that exposed Trump's darkest family secret and left the former president standing there speechless, red-faced, and completely humiliated in front of millions. This was no ordinary talk show. Tonight was a highly anticipated live television event called Leadership Showdown, broadcast nationwide on prime time. Two of the most powerful men in American politics, former President Barack Obama and President Donald Trump, had agreed to appear together for the first time in years. When the car finally pulled up to the studio, the evening air felt thick with tension. Trump stepped out, straightening his jacket as the bright lights from the entrance hit him. Inside, the studio was buzzing but strangely quiet at the same time. Crew members moved fast, whispering into headsets. The audience had already taken their seats, hundreds of faces watching, waiting. The second Trump walked onto the stage, everything went dead silent. All eyes were on him. He stood there under the hot glare of the cameras, feeling that familiar rush of energy. This was it, the moment he had waited for. Tonight he wasn't just going to defend his family. He was going to end Obama's golden image once and for all. One by one, the lights above him clicked on brighter. The moderator gave a quick nod from the side. Trump took a deep breath, chest puffed out. The red light on the camera blinked on, and the studio fell into a heavy hush. Trump didn't wait for any warm-up. He leaned forward, eyes locked on Obama, and started speaking in that sharp, booming voice everyone knew so well. Let's get one thing straight, Barack. Your 8 years in office left this country weaker, poorer, and less safe. The economy was crawling, foreign policy was a disaster, and you spent more time apologizing to the world than fixing anything at home. His words came fast and hard, each one hitting like a punch. Before the moderator could even jump in, Trump raised his hand and kept rolling. But that's not even the worst part. The real problem is you, Barack. You talk about family values, you talk about being a role model, but you weren't even a real father to your own daughters. The room seemed to freeze. Trump didn't blink. He pointed straight across the table. You weren't there when it mattered. You put your own image first. That's not leadership. That's hypocrisy. The moderator tried to cut in. Mr. President, let's keep this on policy. But Trump slammed his palm on the table and talked right over him. No, we're not dancing around this tonight. The American people deserve the truth. Your family wasn't as perfect as you pretended. You hid things, you made excuses, and now you want to act like some saint while my son Barron gets dragged through the mud by your supporters? His voice rose higher, cutting off every attempt to slow him down. Obama sat completely still, watching with that calm expression that only made Trump push harder. People in the audience started shifting in their seats. A low murmur spread through the rows, some shocked gasps, a few whispers. Trump felt the energy shift in his favor. He owned the stage now. Every camera was on him, every ear tuned to his words. This was exactly what he wanted. He could see the discomfort on faces in the front row. Good, let them feel it. He leaned even closer, voice dropping into that signature growl. Prove it, Barack. Right here, right now. Prove you were ever a real leader, because from where I'm sitting, you look like a guy who couldn't even run his own household, let alone the country. Trump paused just long enough to let the words sink in, then hit again. And while we're at it, explain to the American people why the rumors about my son Barron keep coming from your side of the aisle. You started this mess. Now own it. The murmurs in the crowd grew louder. A woman in the third row covered her mouth. A man next to her shook his head. Trump felt a surge of satisfaction rush through him. He was in total control. Obama hadn't said a single word yet, and already the room was tilting his way. Trump straightened up, chest out, a tight smile forming on his lips. Trump kept hammering away, his voice getting louder with every sentence. He repeated the same attacks on Obama's record, then circled back to the family shots, jabbing his finger across the table. The moderator tried once more to step in, but Trump shut him down again. The studio felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for the next explosion. Obama just sat there. He didn't interrupt. He didn't shift in his chair. He didn't even change his expression. He let Trump finish every last word, eyes steady, hands folded on the table. When Trump finally paused to catch his breath, the silence lasted only a second. Obama leaned forward slightly, looked Trump dead in the eyes, and spoke in a calm, clear voice that cut through the room like cold steel. You crossed boundaries with your daughter when she was 23. You should be ashamed. The words landed like a slap. Trump's mouth was still half open from his last sentence, but nothing came out. The confident smirk that had been glued to his face the entire night disappeared in an instant. His eyes widened. The color drained from his cheeks. For the first time all evening, Donald Trump looked completely frozen. The entire audience went dead silent. No murmurs, no gasps, just pure, heavy quiet. Hundreds of people sat there stunned, staring at the two men. Even the crew behind the cameras stopped moving. The red lights on the monitors seemed brighter, the air thicker. That one short sentence had sucked all the noise out of the studio. Obama didn't wait for the shock to wear off. He reached down beside his chair, pulled a thin folder from his bag, and opened it without hurry. His hands were steady. His voice stayed even and low, like he was reading the weather. I have here a medical report from a reliable source inside your own circle back then. Dated June 2013. It details the incident involving your daughter Ivanka when she was 23 years old. The report notes physical evidence of inappropriate contact, documented injuries, and a private doctor's visit arranged the next morning. The examining physician wrote, and I quote, "Patient reports non-consensual touching by her father during a late-night conversation that escalated." Trump's face twisted. He tried to jump in, voice cracking as he shouted, "That's a lie! You're making this up right now!" But the words came out shaky, not the strong roar he'd had minutes earlier. His hand shot up to interrupt, but Obama kept reading, calm as ever, raising the document slightly so the cameras could see the official letterhead and signatures. The report was signed by Dr. Michael Harlan, who treated your daughter that night. It also includes a note from your own security detail confirming the time and location. This isn't rumor, Donald. This is a record. Trump's throat worked as he tried to speak again, but his voice broke halfway through. You can't. Just stop. This is fake news. He slammed his fist on the table, but the sound felt weak compared to the quiet power coming from the other side. Sweat was already forming on his forehead. His usual swagger was gone, replaced by something raw and unsteady. The audience stayed frozen. A few people leaned forward, eyes wide. Someone in the back row whispered, "Oh my God," but it was barely audible. The cameras stayed locked on both men, capturing every twitch on Trump's face and every steady breath Obama took. Obama set the report down but didn't close the folder. He looked straight into the main camera, then back at Trump. The contrast was brutal. Trump breathing hard, face flushed and confused, while Obama sat perfectly composed, like he had been waiting for this exact moment for years. Trump opened his mouth one more time, but the words wouldn't come out right. His confidence had shattered in under 30 seconds, and the whole country was watching it happen live. Obama stayed perfectly still for a moment after reading from the medical report. Then he reached back into the folder and pulled out another document, this one stapled together with a notary stamp clearly visible on the front page. His voice never rose, never shook. Here's the second piece of evidence, a sworn statement from a former staff member who was in the residence that night in 2013. Her name is Maria Delgado. She worked security for your family for 4 years. She was standing just outside the room when it happened. This is her signed testimony, dated and notarized 2 days after the incident." Obama held the paper up toward the camera so everyone could see the signature and the official seal. He started reading slowly and clearly. "I heard raised voices. Then Ivanka came out of the room, crying. She told me her father had touched her in a way that made her uncomfortable. She asked me not to say anything because Mr. Trump told her it was a family matter." That's Maria Delgado's own words, Donald. She was willing to put her name on it. The studio felt like it had dropped 10 degrees. Trump's face went from red to purple in seconds. He shoved his chair back so hard it scraped loudly against the floor and shot to his feet, pointing a thick finger straight at Obama. "You son of a bitch! This is total bullshit. You're dragging my daughter into this because you can't defend your own record." His voice cracked with rage. "What about your family, Barack? What about the lies you told about your own past? You think you can sit there and play holy while my kid gets attacked? You're the one who should be ashamed." Trump was yelling now, jabbing his finger again and again, spit flying as he tried to turn the attack back on Obama. The audience gasped. A few people stood up in the back rows. The tension in the room jumped so high, it felt like the air might snap. Obama didn't flinch. He didn't even raise his voice. While Trump was still shouting, Obama calmly pulled out a third document, a printed email chain with the Trump Organization header clearly visible at the top. "Evidence number 3, Obama said, as if Trump wasn't screaming 2 feet away. "This is an internal email from your own team, sent the morning after the incident, from your longtime aide to the head of security." Let me read it for the audience. He adjusted his glasses slightly and read in that same steady tone. "Damage control needed on last night's situation with Ivanka. Doctor visit already arranged. Tell staff to keep mouths shut. No leaks. DT wants this buried immediately. Signed by your senior advisor at the time." Trump froze mid-rant, his mouth still open. The color drained from his face again. He slammed both hands on the table and roared at the top of his lungs. "That's a forgery! It's all fake! They're lying to destroy me!" His voice boomed through the studio, echoing off the walls. He kept shouting, "Fake news! This is a witch hunt! Barack Obama is desperate and making up documents." The moderator finally jumped in, looking nervous but firm. "Mr. President, we need to pause for a moment. Our team is going to verify these documents live on air right now. We're checking signatures, timestamps, and chain of custody with our fact-check partners." The big screens behind the stage lit up as the verification process started. The audience leaned forward in their seats, completely silent, eyes glued to the monitors. No one coughed. No one whispered. The only sound was the low hum of the electronics and Trump's heavy breathing. Trump stood there, chest heaving, staring at the screens like they were about to sentence him. His hands were clenched into fists at his sides. For the first time, he looked smaller under the bright lights. Obama simply sat back, hands folded again, waiting patiently while the entire country watched the documents being examined in real time. The tension was unbearable. Every second that ticked by made the air feel heavier. The moderator kept glancing between the two men, sweat visible on his forehead. Trump couldn't take it anymore. His face was bright red, veins bulging on his neck. He pointed at Obama again, voice shaking with pure fury. "You want to play dirty, Barack? Fine. Let's talk about your real secrets. I have it on good authority that you weren't even around for half of your daughter's lives because you were too busy chasing your own ego. You left them with nannies while you played celebrity president. That's the real story the American people need to hear." He expected the room to turn back in his favor. Instead, Obama simply reached into the folder one more time and pulled out a small digital recorder. He pressed play without saying a word. The audio crackled through the studio speakers. It was unmistakably Trump's voice, recorded in a private meeting years earlier. Ivanka came to me upset again. I told her it was nothing. Just father-daughter stuff. She needs to toughen up. Don't let this leak or we're all finished. Bury it. Pay the doctor extra if you have to. The recording stopped. The silence that followed was deafening. Trump's eyes went wide. His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. That's not real. They edited it. Someone doctored my voice. But the damage was done. The audience started murmuring again, louder this time. Phones were already coming out, even though they weren't supposed to. That was the breaking point. Trump completely lost it. His voice cracked into a hoarse shout. "You set this up. This is a trap." He shoved his chair back so hard it fell over and took 2 angry steps toward Obama's side of the table. Security guards moved in fast but didn't grab him hard. They just stepped in front, hands up, blocking his path. Trump stopped inches away, chest heaving, face twisted in rage, pointing over their shoulders. "You think you can destroy me with fake tapes? I built this country back. I made it strong again while you were busy apologizing." His words came out broken and desperate now, the old power gone. The guards stayed calm but firm, creating a tense wall between the two men. The whole studio felt like it was 1 second away from exploding. Obama never raised his voice. He looked Trump straight in the eyes and said quietly, clearly, and with ice-cold calm, "The truth doesn't need to be shouted, Donald. It only needs to be spoken." Those simple words hit harder than any scream. The audience went quiet again, absorbing the line. Several people nodded slowly. A few even clapped once before catching themselves. Trump tried one last desperate swing. He stepped back, straightened his jacket with shaking hands, and forced a laugh that sounded fake as hell. "This is all a witch hunt. The American people know the real me. They know I'm the strongest leader this country has ever had. Nobody believes your lies." Before he could finish the sentence, the big screens behind them lit up again. Another piece of evidence appeared. A second short audio clip, this one from the same meeting, but a few seconds later. Trump's voice came through even clearer. "Make sure Ivanka stays quiet. Family first, right? We can't let this get out." The audience reaction was instant. Gasps turned into loud whispers. Someone in the front row said, "Jesus Christ," loud enough for the microphones to pick it up. Trump's face went completely white. His last words died in his throat. Every new denial he tried to throw out was crushed immediately by the cold, hard proof playing right there on national television. He stood frozen, breathing hard, the fight draining out of him right in front of millions of viewers. The man who had walked onto the stage ready to dominate now looked small, exposed, and completely out of control. The studio fell into a heavy, dead silence. No one clapped, no one cheered. The only sound was the low hum of the cameras and the faint breathing of hundreds of people who didn't know how to react. Trump stood there, face flushed, deep red, sweat running down his temples. His mouth opened once, twice, but nothing came out. His usual sharp comebacks, his loud denials, they were all gone. He couldn't even look straight into the camera anymore. His eyes darted to the floor, then to the side, anywhere but at the millions watching him fall apart live on national television. Obama waited a few seconds, then slowly rose from his chair. He buttoned his jacket calmly, like he had just finished a normal conversation. He turned toward the main camera, looked directly into the lens, and spoke in that same steady, quiet voice that had cut through Trump's storm all night. "Power is not in the loudest voice. It is in the clearest truth." The words hung in the air, simple and final. They didn't need shouting. They didn't need drama. They just landed, heavy and undeniable. Before the moderator could say anything to wrap up, the control room cut in with a surprise live video call. A woman appeared on the big screens behind the stage, Maria Delgado, the same former staff member whose sworn statement Obama had read earlier. She looked straight into her camera, calm but serious. "I'm here tonight because I can't stay silent anymore," she said. "I was there that night in 2013. I saw Ivanka leave the room crying. I heard Mr. Trump tell her to keep quiet. Everything in those documents is true. The medical report, the emails, the recording. I helped arrange the doctor visit myself. I'm sorry it took me this long, but the truth matters more than my old paycheck." Her words hit like the final nail. Trump's shoulders slumped. He lowered his head, staring at the floor. For the first time all evening, the man who had walked in ready to destroy someone else couldn't even lift his eyes. The fight was completely gone. He looked broken. The moderator cleared his throat awkwardly. "That concludes tonight's event. Thank you to both gentlemen for joining us." The red lights on the cameras stayed on for a few more seconds. Trump didn't move at first. Then he turned without a word and started walking off the stage alone. No final handshake, no wave to the crowd, just a lone figure in a wrinkled suit, shoulders heavy, heading for the side exit while the audience sat in stunned silence. Then the clapping started. It began with a few people in the front rows, then spread quickly through the entire studio. The applause grew louder and stronger, all for Obama. He gave a small nod. No victory dance, no smirk, just a quiet acknowledgement before stepping away from the table. As the broadcast faded to black, the last image the country saw was Trump walking off stage by himself, back turned to the cameras, while the sound of steady applause for Obama filled the air. One calm sentence, a folder of hard evidence, a few honest words from people who had stayed quiet for too long. That was all it took to flip the entire night upside down. Trump had come in planning to bury Obama under personal attacks and loud confidence. Instead, the truth, spoken clearly and backed up by facts, had buried the attack before it could finish. The lesson played out on every screen across America that night. No matter how loud or how prepared you think you are, the clearest truth will always speak louder in the end.